All right, so now that we're grabbing a random piece of sheet metal, we want to make sure that we're square when we do this. So I'm going to set this against my edge, I'm going to bring it forward, and I'm going to make sure it lines up with that back edge of the table. That looks square to me. Now I'll turn it the other way. That one does as well, and now I'll turn it the last way and see how that looks. So it looks square to me, okay? So I'm happy with that. I'm cutting out a piece 8 1/8 by 5 7/8. So I'll go to 5 7/8, and I'll cut it. I'm trying to find a piece that's close to my dimensions. And it's 8 1/8. All right, so here's the size of the lid, and I need to have 1/2 inch tabs. So I'm going to scribe those on. I'll go back with my Sharpie to make them more visible for you. Put those are my 1/2 inch tabs on there. Go back and just kind of pen them in a little bit. Okay, so they're more visible for you. And now I want to go ahead and I want to set this with the side that I designated for my hinge sitting back. And I want to look and see what this looks like and see how my overhangs are. If when I put this on, I can't see my lines on the outside of it, then I know that it's not going to work properly. So I can see this right now. Everything looks pretty good. See all my lines on the outside there. So next step is I want to cut out these corners. So let me get this next. Take the time to lay your box on top before you cut any tabs out. If this was too small, we could always accommodate it by making our tabs slightly smaller in size, right? Maybe 7/16 instead of a 1/2 inch. And then that would allow more space for this big box. So now I'm going to cut these off. The second one, as I'm cutting it through, I'm going to hold my hand over top so the piece doesn't jump up on me. Okay, I'm going to throw these back, both of them in this galvanized bin. And then this bin is for pieces that are too small to be used right now. So I have my lid. I have to go ahead and bend these now. Those lines over on the brake. So let's walk over there. And it doesn't matter, before it was tabs first. This time it's not going to matter which one you bend first. So I'll bring my line to the table. And I'll bend one tab. And look to see that I have a good 90-degree angle. When I bend the other ones, I want to make sure the existing tab is not going to get smashed when I bring down the brake. Make sure I have a good 90. Notice that my tab is in an area where there's an opening, so when I bend this up, it goes into that opening. Now it looks a little bit 190 degrees, so I'm going to tweak it back out of here. That looks good. Okay. My corners line up, they're even, they're both 1/2 inch, both 1/2 inch. Let's see how it fits in the box. Okay, so we have a nice even overhang all around the top there. Now we have to put on a hinge. Okay, let me grab the hinge and I'll be back. The hinge that we use here is stainless steel, and I bought it at a scrapyard. There's like, I go there probably 10 times a year to see what they have. They have the hinges that we need, which are called continuous hinges or piano hinges. and they work well for this. If you go to buy these things individually, I've looked for them online before, and they can cost like $2.50 a piece, and they're not stainless steel. So we get these for a very, very good rate from that scrapyard. And if this was a normal year in the shop here, when we weren't dealing with the code fires, we would take a field trip out to that scrapyard because it's in the Fleetwood district. And we would buy materials for projects for us to make for the second semester of the course. We're not in that situation, so we'll be just doing activities the entire time. We won't come up with our own projects because we won't have time to do that. This hinge gets cut to the length. Let me get a marker. And when I mark it so it fits inside the box, so I'll mark it just inside that. I'm going to walk over and I'm going to lay this flat on the table shears and I'm going to cut right where that line is. You don't have to worry about cutting in between one of the hinges here. You can cut anywhere that your mark is. So there's my length. It's going to go on here, and it's going to get welded so that it is the barrel. If you look at this, you can see there's a barrel on this side and not on the opposite side. The barrel faces backwards into this box here, and you can see there's a little bit of a bend there that's prohibiting this from getting in there. Maybe if I slide it down like that, it'll sit better, and it does. Okay. So I want this to be laying right on that back edge there, on the inside of the box, with the barrel facing out of the box. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put one weld in the middle, one weld at either end, and then one in between. So there'll be 5 welds all together on this back here. Okay. Once I have that on, I'm going to lay out how this is supposed to be sitting on there so that everything has an even overlap to it. So when I come back, I'll have this will be welded on, and I'm going to show you how to lay out for the